average person or middle class or the masses, how they call it, to break through from an average mentality into world class and become the best in the industry. And what I've noticed, so many people set goals, but the first obstacle or second and they give up. And you're one of the top experts on...
Stop.
Would you help us give some suggestions, you know, how we overcome obstacles and keep moving?
Yeah, you know, my belief is that it's all belief-based. It's what you believe about yourself, about the world around you, what you want and what's going to happen that will determine your activity of what you'll do and what you'll continue to do. And I think that a lot of people have it in their minds that if you set a goal, then you're going to get that goal. And then when something shows up, because they're not trained, or they've not trained themselves to know the process of achieving something, then when those obstacles do show up, it causes them to doubt themselves, doubt the world around them, and doubt whatever beliefs that they may have had. So if I was to say, I'd give some advice to people, is number one, to recognize that the fundamentals of achievement are really simple, and they are, first, know what you want. That's the first part. You know, most people don't know exactly what they want, and be specific about what it is that they want. Because the more specific you are, the more, it's not just that, you know, the universe is going to hand this to you, because, you know, that whole attraction thing is a very real thing, but more specifically, it's what makes us feel like it's going to happen, and we'll do something. So first off, know what you want, and then number two, know the process. Success means that you're going to fall down. It means that the journey, stuff is going to happen. It's going to knock you off course. And when it does, my saying is, it's not, well, let me back up. People say that, you know, you've heard this saying before, that it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up that counts. And that's a really great saying, but it's not the truth. It's not the whole truth. Because it's what you do when you got knocked down that will determine whether you get up or not. So I always say, first off, if you get knocked down, first off, notice what knocked you down, and then while you're down there, figure out what you got to do to get back up. And then when you get back up, next time, duck. And that sounds silly, but it's the truth, because the same type of obstacles knock people down over and over again. Finances, you know, other people talking about them, and peer pressure and all those things. The same things knock us down. So next time when I say duck, know that it's coming and get out of the way. Know that it's coming and go, oh, here that comes. This person is going to say something bad about me, or I'm not going to have enough money to do this, so let me plan ahead of time.
Do you have any personal example that you are about to give up?
I have plenty, yeah. As you know, I was, at the bottom of my life, I was homeless at one point. And I had given up. I literally had given up. And what happened was, while I was, and I didn't know this was happening to me, while I was down there, I had great parents, and they always taught us to, you know, laugh in the face of danger and that kind of thing, and to have fun. And at the bottom of my life, I was, you know, long story short, I was living in a cardboard box in the middle of the desert, and didn't have any hope of anything happening. And I wrecked my motorcycle. I was all cut up, and it started to rain, and I just started laughing. And because I started laughing, I know now it changed my physical body, which changed how I moved and what I did. And I started to look, okay, well, this is just, you know, what it is, so what's next? So I say that because my own examples, and I've had plenty of them, where, you know, almost going bankrupt, and almost, you know, and losing everything, and, you know, romance and things like that, you know, lots of stuff that have happened. But I know now that that's part of the journey. And from that time when I was laughing at the bottom of my life, I realized how quickly to get to that place as quickly as possible. When something happens, put a smile on your face and go, that's that, this too shall pass, what's next?
Yeah. And one of the biggest obstacles for people, I think, is fear of rejection. They get paralyzed by fear. Did you have many times when people will tell you no, 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 and you will just perceive and get the results?
Yes, too. I danced that dance, I think, too long in my life. Well, first off, as a psychologist, the number one fear of human beings is the fear of rejection. And it comes from birth. It's, our Creator gave us that so that we're not alone. And I used to care so much about, and I would overthink it, what people would think about me, that it would paralyze me, that I wouldn't do something, I remember sitting in one of my classrooms and not raising my hand, even though I knew the answer, because I doubted myself and thinking, well, if I got the answer wrong, then everybody's going to laugh at me. And, everybody has got their history and things have happened to us to cause us feel that way. And I used to, as you know, I speak in front of large crowds of people, but there was a time that I used to get so nervous before I went on stage that this is too much information, that I would literally throw up before I went on stage. But I'm here to say, and you know this, that as we work on ourselves, personal development, whatever the challenge is, you can fix it, you can change your psychology.
I can't believe you had a fear of public speaking.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
First time I saw it was UPW, maybe 6,000 people.
Right, yeah.
So
that's a small crowd.
Wow. And how long have you been speaking now?
Gosh, about 23 years. 23 years, off and on. I was a musician for a long time, and that was another thing. I loved to play music, but I couldn't get in front of people for a while. And then just working on myself, I got past it. Now that's what I show people how to do. I had a practice in Los Angeles for many years where people would come and I'd help people get over fears and phobias and emotional challenges, but in a real short amount of time versus years and years. You can do it in 45 minutes, half hour. And so, but I always have this thing, I told you this before, I won't teach anybody or tell anybody something that I haven't done myself. So I had to work on myself first.
Did you have a role model?
Yeah, I have plenty. My mother, my father are my first and best role models. And then I have role models that I know and role models that I've never met. One of my role models was Martin Luther King. One of my role models, as you know, is my dear friend Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra. Gosh, I mean, I have many, and I still do, and I still look for them. General Norman Schwarzkopf, Colin Powell. One of my friends and one of the people that I actually coach is Forrest Whitaker, who's an unbelievable role model in terms of just a quality person, just a great person. But I have many of them.
Thank you. And I know that you have some special rituals you do every day for your health and for your spiritual life. Can you share with us?
Yeah. How much time we got? I do. I believe that how we take care of ourselves, our mind, body, and spirit, are critically important to how happy we are. I believe that happiness is what we're on this planet for. We're here to make ourselves happy and to make other people happy as well. So everything that I do is to that outcome. So I have a couple beliefs, as I shared with you before. We have a health retreat in Spain that I do. And I teach people the fundamentals of how we function as human beings. Not just what we eat and our physical body, but our minds as well. And I believe that our mind is one thing, our body is another thing, but our spirit, meaning our heart, how we feel, is critical to our lives. What we get, what we won't get, what we do, what we don't do. And so from a physical standpoint, I have eight pillars or 8 things that I believe that you got to do. It's the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the thoughts we think, the moves we make, the words we speak, the sleep we take, and the things we seek. And I know I went through those very fast, but if you change any of, like most people, as you know, they don't breathe correctly.
Yeah.
They don't have proper breathing. And that's the number one thing. We quit breathing, we die. But every bit less oxygen that we get, the less our life is going to be, the less energy we're going to have. The type of water we drink and how much we drink, the type of food we eat and how much we eat. And so, just kind of real shortly, I'm not really strict about anything. I believe in moderation. But I believe that if you are aware and have a system, if you will, it can be a very simple system of approaching each one of those things through your day, then your life just goes better. I mean, you have all the energy. I got lots of energy. Lots of energy. And you're happier. So which is the second thing. What we think, most people think, well, gosh, I'm not in control of my mind. Yes, we are. Our brain is simply this. It's just making pictures in our mind and talking, specifically asking questions.
Yeah.
So if you close your eyes, you can make pictures in your mind. And that's all thinking is. So the trick is, and you can repeat something over and over again until it pretty soon becomes your thought. So I teach people this. Okay, figure out what pictures are going to be the best pictures for you, and either go online and get a bunch of pictures, or cut them out in a magazine and just close your eyes and imagine them over and over again with a smile on your face, and say to yourself the things that you need to say while you reward yourself and praise yourself. Then pretty soon that's going to be how you are. Those are going to be your thoughts.
This is what you did for your life, and you had things came true. All of them.
Well, not all yet, but it's a process. What I wanted, I have, but it's human nature to always want more. So there's other things that I want, not just for myself, but for others as well. As you and I spoke before, my outcome really is to help as many people as I possibly can grow, and that at this stage of my life, that's what I really want. So that's what I try to become. So I haven't touched everybody yet. But soon.
Well, you have 5 best-selling books, and you speak in front of thousands and thousands of people. With the best speaker, Tony Robbins, you already took his stage. So you will be teaching, I think, all of his seminars. And what's your biggest aspirations for next 5 years?
3 things. Very good question. 3 things. I think from a professional standpoint, I mean, I have other aspects in my personal life and things like that, but from a achievement standpoint, is I believe, I learned this a long time ago, that the easiest and best way to impact people is how they're already being impacted. And how most people are being impacted right now is television. And so that's what I'm looking to do. I've got some inroads of making that happen. I don't necessarily want a television show, necessarily, especially in the format that's there. But I want to do much more television to impact more people. That's number 1. Number 2, I love what I do from the stage. That's the most fun I have. But I'm not going to be able to do it forever. So I want to train other people to do it as well. I want to train as many people as I possibly can to get up and speak and do what you're doing. I mean, you're so gracious in what you do that you're educating other people, and people need that. And speakers, they're few and far in between. The good ones are. A lot of people think that they can get up and impact an audience, but it's a skill. Yeah. And I learned it, and now I want to teach it to as many people as possible.
And how did you learn that skill?
I've had some great teachers. Fortunately and unfortunately, most I learned by being on stage and having been put in a position or no, I shouldn't say being put in a position, choosing to be in a position where I follow some pretty awesome people. And having to do that, you get a raise to the next level. And so I've had lots of experience on stage, but you don't have to have that kind of experience. In other words, what I want to do is show as many people as I possibly can how to shorten it. I call it further, faster. Shorten that amount of time so that they can be an awesome impactor and influencer in a very short amount of time.
Thank you. And do you have an opinion on conventional college education? If a person wants to be successful, do they need to go to school?
That's a touchy question. Here's what I'll say. My college education was and is very useful. I didn't get my doctorate until just a few years ago. However, I did a master's and all that stuff earlier on. And to say that it didn't help me is not true. It did. But here's what I'll say. To answer your question, it's not absolutely necessary. Depends on what you're doing. If you want to be a doctor, then I would say yes. If you're going to work in a hospital, you're going to operate on people, yes, go get it. But evaluate. Here's the answer to the question. Find somebody that's already doing what you want to do, and assess whether degree, that piece of paper, is going to help you get to your goal as quickly as you need to be. And if so, then yes, do it. I taught at the University of Southern California for 7 years. And I love teaching, and I believe that education is the key, but I also know that education is only the key that is going to open the door. It's activity that's going to get stuff done. And that's the hardest thing. I know people that don't have a college education, barely have a high school education, and are much more successful, much more happy, much more healthier than people that are just the opposite. So, to answer your question, it's not absolutely necessary. Find out if it's necessary, and if that's the route that you want to go, then go for it.
So besides finding a role model and model their steps, what other keys to success?
Do it. It's the biggest thing. We all know what to do. We all know what people know how to lose weight. People know how to make money. People know how to be happy. They just don't do it. You know this, that what changed my life when I was at the bottom of my life, when I was laughing and all that stuff, what changed my life was somebody gave me the book Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I read the book, and that was wonderful. It inspired me, got me excited. But I did what the book said. And that's the biggest thing, because I know people who say, I got the book and my life isn't successful. I read the book, and I go, but did you do what's in the book?
Yeah.
And anything that I write now is I always give people steps and steps of what to do. And if they do it, then you're going to get results. You know, you can't know how to play baseball and win a baseball game. You got to get out there and play the game. You can't know how to lose weight and just know it and lose weight. You know, you've got to do the activity. And you know, I always say to people, we live in this day and age where technology has passed us up as human beings. And I mean, it really has. But if we don't use the technology, my cell phone is just a cell phone. So what? If I don't use it, if I don't actually use it. So the answer to your question is, you got to do it. You've got to do the step-by-step stuff, which always goes back to our very first thing. When the hard stuff happens, you still got to keep on doing it. I think it was either Eisenhower or somebody, forgive me, who said this: if you're going through hell, keep going. You know, keep going, because that's what happens. It's just like the bad stuff's going to happen, and when it does, get up and keep going. Because you gotta, if you go back, you're going to go back to where you were. Keep going.
Joseph, you are so successful already. You accomplished more than an average person. So anyways, you get up every morning early and you accomplish 10 times more than 90% of population. or more, even more. What drives you every day? You have so much energy.
It's not what drives me. It's what pulls me. And this is huge. It's one of the things that wherever I speak, I try to get this point across. That most people feel like, I'm driven to make something happen. I'm driven, which means you're pushed to make something happen. And that's why one of the reasons why people give up. But it's what pulls me to the future. It's what's going to happen. It's what I know is going. It's what I believe is going to happen. That it's the carrot on the stick. It's so basic that most people miss it. And most people go, I want more money, and I'm driven to get more money. But then they go, but I got to work hard, and I got to do this. And I'm going to put myself in the position that I'm going to be rejected and all that stuff, and that doesn't feel good. So they stop looking at what's behind them. I mean, they stop looking what's in front of them. They start looking what's behind them and going, I don't want that. I don't want that. Instead of going, wait a minute, I'm going to get that, I'm going to get that, and that's what keeps them going. Because as you keep focusing on what you want, and you know what's going to happen, and you know what we call it as your reasons why, then what happens is you're pulled into doing it. Nobody has to tell you to get up early. I mean, I wake up every morning going, what's next? And then I go, oh, I remember what's next. You know, and I set myself up for that kind of thing. I set myself up. In other words, it's so funny. I think I have a pretty good memory, but I forget a lot of stuff. And I know this because I use my technology, my cell phone. It has a notes section in there, and what I always do is I remind myself of, you know, what's going to happen and that kind of thing, and I keep looking at it, and I wake up every morning and I go, okay, what's going to happen? Oh, let me get on my phone. Oh yeah. And I remind myself of how great things are. I say to myself, here's how great things are, and here's what's going to happen, and it keeps me going forward. And the last part of that is the reason why we're going to get it. People say they want to lose weight, because they want to look better. No, they want to lose weight, or they want to get to the weight that they want. And I use weight and making money because those are the easy ones. They want those things so they'll feel better. That's it. They'll feel better if, you know, if somebody notices, hey, you lost weight, or they fit in these clothes. It makes them feel better. But they don't remind themselves that, oh yeah, here's how I'm going to feel. And if they do that, then that's the reason why, and they keep doing it. It's easier to get up.
You probably have also sometimes bad days when you get up and you're not in the mood to work. Do you still go and get your goals and things done, or you take a break? You know what?
And I hope this doesn't sound arrogant. I'm not going to say that I don't have bad days, because I don't have bad days. I have bad portions of the day. Something may happen, but honestly, this is great, but it might sound terrible. I can't remember waking up and thinking, this is a bad day. No, I can. Yes.
Tell us.
Yes. And even then, it was still interesting. I had knee surgery done at the beginning of the year, and it was the most painful thing I've ever gone through in my entire life. Physical pain. And I was in a machine they operated on my knee, and then they put me in a machine that kept bending my knee on its own. And I didn't want to take the pain pills.
Oh.
But I took them. And the pain pills were wearing out, and I'd wake up in the morning, and it would be so excruciatingly bad that I couldn't laugh. And I was going, and I just didn't know what to do. That was the beginning of a bad day. But I say that because most every other day I wake up excited. But it's because I did the work to train myself to wake up excited. That's the point, is that people, and this is what I do with people all the time, is train them to wake up excited. But let me turn it back on you. What about you? Do you wake up excited every day?
Almost every day. Sometimes I wake up and with no reason I feel low, but I still don't take a day off. I work,
So it's just a portion of the day. It's just a piece of the day.
Yeah,
well, that happens. I mean, I get bad things happen to me left and right. I told you my dog is sick. Things like that. But when they happen, you just go, that's part of life, and what's next?
But you said you train yourself. How do you train yourself?
Mind, body, spirit. Mind, I train my thoughts, and this is what I teach other people as well. Train your thoughts, Deepak Chopra says 80% of the thoughts that we have every day are the same ones we had yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's true, if you think about it. So, but the trick is most people don't take the time to train ourselves, to tell ourselves what to think. You just simply reading something over and over and over, memorizing a song is teaching yourself to think a certain way. And so, I say to people, figure out what it is that you want to think, what you want to believe, what you want to say. And as you do, then say it over and over again. Put a smile on your face, that's important. And as you smile, it tells your nervous system to do more of this. And that's the way we are.
Oh, that's great.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, like I said, it's how we eat, how we take care of our bodies. And then number three, it's how happy we are. It truly is. It is my latest kick, for lack of a better term. It's my latest book. It's how happy we are. How we cause ourselves to be happy. How happy we are through the day. And if we rehearse that and do it over and over again, that's the spirit. Do you have a happy spirit or a sad spirit? It's that simple. Most people say, well, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, then let's figure it out and let's make it up so you have a happy spirit most of the time. And then when you do, then you're happier and you get more stuff done.
Yeah. Also, I'm interested in your opinion on our environments, especially people, friends. Should we get rid of negative people? And what to do when, unfortunately, family members are a little negative, or they're trying to bring you down? And
No, that never happens. My advice on that is this. It's the same thing. Get happy now. Get as happy as you possibly. I know this is a simple answer to the question, but it's the truth. Do the work on yourself. That's what's going to change other people. People will start believing in you as you believe in yourself. And there's a process. I know that sounds simple. You believe in yourself, but there's a process of how to do that. And when you do that, and when you learn how to be happy and get happy and stay as happy as you possibly can, and make that your default, then what happens is the world around you changes. And I'm such a believer in that we all, as human beings, have the ability to influence the universe, the world around us, people, places, things, to bring into our lives the situations, the circumstances, and even the material things that we want. But we got to do it here. We got to do it with our energy. We got to do it with our spirit. And there's a process of doing so. So those people will change. You know, trying to change other people without them wanting to change is like, you know, hitting your head against the wall. Half the time they don't want to do it. So change yourself first, and then things will change around.
How do you feed your mind every day? Books or tapes or meditate? How do you improve?
It's so funny. I say that all the time as well. When was the last time you listened to it? They don't exist anymore. All of the above. I try to read as much as possible. But what I find myself doing now, audiobooks are like the greatest thing in the world now, because I have, you know, my phone is with me all the time. And so when I get in the car, if I'm not listening to music, I'm listening to a book on tape. I just, if you haven't gotten it yet, as long as we're talking. Yeah, the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh, you've got to get it. Oh, you've got to get it. You have to. It's. The book was. I know this is a little off the subject, but the book was written by Napoleon Hill, the same guy who wrote Napoleon, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. But he wrote it at the same time, and it never got published from 1938 till 2011. It just got.
Oh wow.
And it's brilliant. I mean, it is so enlightening in terms of why we do what we do. I'm a psychologist, and I know the technical aspects of why people do what we do. This is such a wonderful viewpoint of how the average person functions. You know, I'm enjoying that. So I listen to that. You know, that's a great book that I listen to. If I read a book, usually it's a quote book. If I, or I have a set of quotes of my own quotes that I read every day, and I make it mean something. Apps in my phone. But I got to tell you, from a personal growth, and I'm still growing and I'm still learning standpoint, the biggest thing that one can do for themselves is a daily ritual. It only takes a few minutes of saying what you want to say and seeing what you want to see. Because we all say we want to change. We want to be better people, and we want to be happier, and want to do all that stuff. But we don't have a system of doing it. And I believe in systems. I believe that everything that you want is going to come from doing something about it. But what most people don't have is a system of causing themselves to do what they need to do, no matter what.
Okay.
That can't be your last question.
So this is Joseph McClendon, best-selling author of these 2 books and 3 more, total of 5.
Yes.
5 books, and he is a motivational speaker. He shares stages with best entrepreneurs in the country and in the world. And psychologist, I don't even know all of your titles.
Wow. I call myself an entrepreneur of the human spirit.
Entrepreneur of a human spirit.
And by profession, I'm a psychologist. By trade, I'm what's called an ultimate performance specialist. And that's just kind of a big title for kind of a high-end life coach. People hire me to help them get the best out of themselves. And I do it because, I always say at this stage in my life, but it's been this way for a long time. Somebody helped me when I was at the worst part of my life. And they helped me by introducing me to personal development, and it helped me recognize that I could change myself, and that I could be a better person, and things would happen differently. And when I went back to that person to thank him and ask him, how do I thank you? What can I do for you? What he said was, well, you do it for as many people as you can. And so that's why I do what I do now. And I think that if I can do that for as many people as I possibly can, then they're going to do it. You're doing it now. I mean, I admire you for what you're doing, because you're helping other people look at things differently. And you never know. You never know whether it's a word that you say, or even how you look, or how you present yourself that makes somebody go, well, maybe I can do something different. and the world is hurting. You know, and I think that, you know, I have a saying, and that is that those of us that dare to dream while the rest of the world is having a nightmare, we're not only going to get the stuff that we want, but we're going to be the leaders.